Good day, everyone. Mabuhay! I'm Glenny M. Orpresio, a math teacher from Hermosa National High School. Today's lesson, Mathematics, Quarter 3, Module 2. Lesson number 2, illustrating the side, angle, side, and side, congruence postulates. For today's objective, illustrate the side, angle, and side, congruence postulates. Let's have a pretest. Identify what is being asked in each question. Choose the letter of the correct answer. Number 1. The blank congruence postulate states that if three sides of one triangle are congruent to three sides of another triangle, then the triangle are congruent. Is it letter A, side, letter B, angle, angle, letter C, side, angle, or letter D, angle, side? So the answer is side, and that is letter A. Number 2. Blank is an angle between two sides of a triangle. A included side, B included angle, C congruent, or D angle. So the answer is letter B, included angle. Next, number 3. In triangle ABC, which is the included angle between sides AB and side AC, based on the given triangle on the right side, is it A, angle B, B, angle C, or C, angle A? The answer is angle A, and that is letter C. Number 4, in triangle ABC, which is the included side between angle A and angle B. Again, you can refer on the given figure of triangle ABC on the right side. Letter A, side AB, letter B, side BC, or letter C, side AC. So number 4, the answer is side AB, and that is letter A. Number 5. The blank congruence postulate states that if two angles and an included side of one triangle are congruent to two angles and an included side of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. Is it letter A, side, letter B, angle, angle, letter C, side, angle, and letter C, D, angle, side? So the answer is angle, angle, and that is letter B. Let us have a short recall. Based on Module 2, Lesson 1, about triangle congruence, let us now differentiate between the included angle and the included side. So what do you mean by included angle? So it is an angle between two sides of a triangle. How about the included side? It is the side common to two angles of a triangle. And how about CPCTC stands for? So CPCTC, corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruence. So let us have an example. Let's try. Triangle MON is congruent to triangle DAY. List down the 6 pairs of its congruent corresponding parts. As you can see from the given two figures of triangles, triangle MON and triangle DAY, using the identical mark. So let us start with the congruent side. Side MO is congruent to side DA. What else? Side ON is congruent to side AY. Side MN is congruent to side DY. How about angles? Angle M is congruent to angle D. Angle O is congruent to angle A. And angle N is congruent to angle Y. So what can you say about the pictures? Have you ever wondered how bridges and buildings are designed? What factors are being considered in the construction of buildings and bridges? Why are bridges and buildings stable? Congruence of triangles has many applications in real world. Architects and engineers use triangles when they build structures because they are considered to be the most stable of all geometric figures. Triangles are oftentimes used as frameworks, supports for make construction works, and they need to be congruent. So at this point, we're going to proceed to our lesson. Illustrate the side, angle, angle, and side congruence postulates. Let's start with the first one. Side, angle, side, same as SAS. If two sides and the included angle of one triangle are congruent to the two sides and the included angle of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. Based on the given two figures of triangles, so we have triangle ABC and triangle DEF. We're going to prove if they are congruent using SAS. So the first congruent part, side AB is congruent to side DE. Another one, angle A is congruent to angle D, and that is the included angle. So the last congruent part, side AC is congruent to side DF. Side, angle, side. Because there is an included angle in between two sides. So therefore, triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF, and that is the triangles are congruent by SAS or side, angle, side. Next, angle, side, angle, ASA. If two angles and the included side of one triangle are congruent to the two angles and the included side of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. Same triangle, two figures of triangle, ABC and DEF. So to prove that they are congruent using ASA, the first congruent part, angle A is congruent to angle D. Side AB is congruent to side DE, and that is the included part. And that, or same as the included side. And the last one, angle B is congruent to angle E. So therefore, angle, side, angle. So triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. So the triangles are congruent by angle, side, angle. Next, side, or SSS. If the sides of one triangle are congruent to the sides of a second triangle, then the triangles are congruent. The same figures of triangle. So we have triangle ABC and triangle DEF using the identical mark. The first congruent part, side AB is congruent to side DE. Another one, the side BC is congruent to side EF. Side AC is congruent to side DF, and that is side, side, side. So therefore, triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. So the triangles are congruent by SSS. Hoping that you understand and all are clear. So let us have an example. Get me a pair. Complete the statement using the congruence postulate. For number 1, triangle red is congruent to what triangle? Using the identical mark. Okay. So, for number 1, if triangle red or the triangle red is congruent to triangle tag or TAG. How about number 2, triangle SON is congruent to triangle SGN. Number 3, triangle COB is congruent to triangle. So you can defend your answer based on the identical mark. Triangle IDV. And for number 4, triangle BIG is congruent to triangle MUG. Okay? Another example. Missing link. In this activity, the corresponding congruent parts are marked. Indicate the additional corresponding parts needed to make the triangles congruent by using the specified congruence postulates. Number 1, angle side angle. So for number 1 and 2, based on the given two triangles on the right. So we have triangle ABC and triangle DEF. For number 1, there is a congruent angle followed by the congruent side. So therefore, what do you think is the additional congruent angle to complete the angle side angle postulate? So the answer is angle A is congruent to angle D. The next one, side angle side. So obviously, there is two congruent sides and a congruent angle. So obviously, the additional congruent part to complete the side angle side is side BC is congruent to side EF. Number 3, side, side, side. So, side AB is, obviously, side AB is congruent to side CD based on the identical mark. Another congruent part, so we have side AD is congruent to side CB. So, what do you think is the additional congruent side? So, the answer is side AC is congruent to side CA. 4 and 5, refer to the given figures of two triangles. Triangle left and triangle has. So, for number 4, to side angle side. So, there is a given using the identical mark. The first congruent side, obviously, using the identical mark. So, there is also a congruent angle. So, therefore, the additional is the congruent side. And that is side LE is congruent to side HS. For number 5, so the first congruent angle is angle E congruent to angle A. using the identical mark. So there is another congruent side, and that is, or the included congruent side, and that is side ET congruent to side AS. So therefore, the additional congruent angle is angle T is congruent to angle S. Okay. Another activity, name the congruence postulate using the identical mark. How about this one? So using the identical mark, there is the included what part? Angle. So therefore, what kind of postulate? And that is side angle side. The next one. What is the included part? The side. In between two angles. So therefore, angle side angle. How about this one? So obviously, it is what kind of congruence postulate? Side, side, side. Okay. Let us now find out how much you have learned from this module. So fill in the correct word or statement that verifies that triangles are congruent. The first one, two triangles are congruent if the blank parts are equal. So the answer is yes, corresponding. Next one, blank is an angle between two sides of a triangle. So the answer is included angle. In blank congruence postulate, two triangles are congruent if two sides and one included angle in a given triangle are equal to the corresponding two sides and one included angle in another triangle. So what do you think? It is what? The side angle side, or SAS. There is an included angle. Next, the blank congruence postulate states that if three sides of one triangle are congruent to three sides of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. So, what postulate is that? And that is side, 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 or SSS. And the last one, the blank congruence postulate states that if two angles and an included side of one triangle are congruent to two angles and an included side of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. As you remember, there is an included side, so obviously, it is angle side angle, ASA. Okay. Next, let us have a short quiz. Get a small piece of paper and try to answer the following. So I divide the questions in three categories. So we have easy, moderate, and difficult. So are you ready? First question for easy. Which postulate can you use to prove the triangles are congruent based on the given figure of two triangles? Letter A, SSS postulate. B, SAS, C, ASA, D, not congruent. Okay? The answer is, okay, side angle, or angle, side angle. Next, number 2. Which postulate can you use to prove the triangle congruent? You can defend your answer on the given figure. Letter A, side, side, side. Letter B, side, angle, side. Letter C, angle, side, angle. Letter D, not congruent. So the answer is side, side, side postulate. Next, another question for easy. Which postulate can you use to prove the triangle is congruent? Letter A, side, side, side. B, side, angle, side. Letter C, angle, side, angle. Or letter D, not congruent. The answer is, okay, side, side, side. Next, for moderate, question number 1. Given, side QR is congruent to side UT. Side RS is congruent to side TS. And triangle QRS is congruent to triangle UTS. So what is the congruent part to make the triangles congruent by side, 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 or SSS? So there is a missing congruent part. And what is that? So the answer is side QS is congruent to side US. Another question for moderate. Given triangle VXW is congruent to triangle ZXY, what is the congruent part to make the triangles congruent by side, angle, side? So you can name the 3 congruent parts. Be sure that the included part is an angle. So what do you think is the answer? Okay. So the answer is angle ZXY is congruent to angle VXW. Since there is an identical mark, so therefore, the additional, based on the given identical mark, the additional congruent part is an angle. So, it is possible angle 1 and angle 2. Angle X is congruent to angle X. And this one using 3 letters. Okay? Next question. For moderate, if side RS congruent to side RQ and side ST is congruent to side QT and triangle QRT is congruent to triangle SRT, what is the other congruent part? Okay. So the answer is triangle RT or side RT or side TR. Next, for difficult, if triangle ABC is congruent to triangle EDF, find the congruent parts and state the postulate. So what are the congruent parts and what is the postulate? Congruence. So the answer is, you can defend your answer based on the given identical mark. So side AB is congruent to side ED. Side AC is congruent to side EF. Side BC is congruent to side DF. And that is side, side, side. Next question. If triangle ABC is congruent to triangle ZXY, find the congruent parts and state the postulate. Okay. The answer is BC congruent to YX, AC congruent to ZX, and angle C is congruent to angle X. So obviously there is an included angle. So the answer is side, angle, side. Postulate. Next. LOVE or LOVE is a rhombus with diagonal LV. Name the congruent parts and state the postulate used. Okay. Time is up. The answer is okay. So side L is congruent to side VO. Side EV is congruent to side OL. Side LB is congruent to side LB. Or side LB is congruent to side VL. And that is side, side, side. Okay, hoping you got a perfect score. Almost all correct answers. And that is very good. For your assignment, picture perfect designs and patterns having the same size and the same shape are seen in almost all places. You can see them in bridges, buildings, towers, even in furniture, fabrics, and handicrafts that you will see inside your home or house. In this part of the lesson, take at least 5 photos of different objects inside or even outside your house that shows triangle congruency and justify why these triangles are congruent. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you and God bless.